Hiya, Assalamu alaikum. This is the second video in the series Urdu for Beginners. In this video, we're going to look at a few more consonants of Urdu language. We are also going to look at some fascinating features of Urdu as well as English language. Even if you are a native speaker of any of these two languages, I'm sure you'll be surprised to hear about these facts. So, let's make a start. Urdu for Beginners, Part 2. Before we look at the new letters, let us quickly look at the letters we learned in the first video. Be, which give you B sound, Noon, N sound, Seen, S, Jim, J, Alif in the beginning, silent, and in the middle or end, A sound. Then we looked at those three short vowels as well, and the symbols were Zabar, which give you A sound, Zer, I sound, Pesh, U sound. These are the sounds we learned. We also learned that Urdu goes from right to left. Now let's look at these examples of English words. So, B, big, N, nose, S, snake, J, jam. A, similar to A in car, and very similar to the beginning part of that I sound in price. So, I. So now E sound, A sound of price is very similar to this A sound of Alif. Then for Zabar, A in signal, for Zer, I in bin, and for Pesh, U in foot. Okay, now let's move on to today's new letters. Now this is the first letter we're going to learn today. It's called Lam. It makes L sound like L in lake. Now you should be able to read this word now. So this is Lam that give you L sound. We just learned that. That's Zer give you I sound, Be, B sound, Alif, A sound, and Seen, S sound. So that makes Libas. Libas is dress in Urdu. Okay. Now, before I introduce another letter, I would like you to look at these letters now. Now, Noon, Jim, and Seen. And we just learned this letter, Lam, which gives you L sound like L. And if you see, it does look like, well, a bit like L. So straight over here, going over there, L. Okay? Now, do you notice something particular in these letters? No? Let me try to help you. Look at that. I moved my Noon behind this Lam. It's almost covered apart from the dot. Let's move this Seen over here. Now, you see that apart from these three teeth of Seen, everything else is covered by Lam. Let's move this Jim now. That's interesting. The Jim is covering the same shape as well. Now, what's the difference? That's Jim, that's Lam, that's Seen, and this dot is Noon. What is the common shape in all these letters? This shape. There's something interesting over here. Now, what do you think of this? This. What is this? It's flag of Pakistan, the country where Urdu is spoken as a national language. Let me show you this flag in a clearer picture. There. So what do you see on this flag? It's green, white, and then there's a white crescent over here and a star. Do you see any pattern? No? Let me help you. Look at that. This is a flag of Pakistan, and that's a crescent over here, right? we call this the crescent shape. And this crescent shape, like that boat shape we did before, is extremely important in Urdu. Okay, so always remember the crescent shape. We're going to talk about the crescent shape time and time again when we're learning Urdu. So let's move on now. Now look at this letter. Right? Now it's like an angle which is slightly bigger than right angle and a dot on top. This letter is called Z. It makes Z sound like Z makes in word zoo. Now Z has more than one sound in English. We know that, like azure. But Z always give you Z sound in Urdu. Now you should be able to read this word now. Z, that zabar give you a sound, be give you ba sound, alif, a, and noon, na. Right? So this alif is not silent, it's giving you a sound because it's not in the beginning, it's in the middle. So that makes a zaban. Tongue is called zaban in Urdu. Language is also called zaban in Urdu. So you're learning Urdu zaban. Right? Let's move on. Look at this letter now. Start from here, around from here, but pointing from here, and goes down, becomes a straight line at the end. This is called meme. It's not the memes you watch on the internet. This is letter meme. It gives you m sound like m gives you in word male. Now, in Urdu, meme is never silent. Okay? Now, look at this word now. Meme, m, zabar a, noon, n, z, z, zer, I, and lam, la. So, two syllables. Manzil. This word makes manzil, which means destination. Okay, so manzil is destination. Have you noticed we can read some Urdu now? Now, look at this letter now. Have you noticed it looks exactly like seen sound? What's the difference? Yeah, the difference is these three dots. It's got three dots on top of it. Seen has no dots. This letter has three dots on top. And this letter is called sheen. It gives you sh sound like sh give you in word shop. Now we do have this sh sound in English, but unfortunately we don't have any letter that give you sh sound, any particular letter. So we use all sort of different combinations of letters to give sh sound. For example, in nation, TIO is giving you sh sound. In sugar, S is giving you sh sound. Right? So it can be a bit confusing in English. Sound, but no letter. So we have this sh sound giving by sheen. So wherever you see this sheen, it's give you sh sound. Have you noticed in IPA, this symbol represent sh sound. Okay? Now let's see if you can read this word now. Sheen give you sh sound. Zabar give you sound. Be gives you b sound. So that makes shab, which means night. Shab khair is good night. Okay? Let's move on now. Look at this letter now. Looks a bit familiar. Why? Remember that boat shape we talked about in the previous video? This boat? Yeah, this letter has the boat shape as well. In fact, it is pretty similar. So what are the differences? The dot is not at the bottom, the dot is at the top. And this bit of the boat is a bit rounded. So that was letter B, and this one over here is letter F. It gives you F sound like F give you in word face. Let's see if we can read this word now. F, Zer give you I sound, Lam give you L sound, Mim give you M sound. So what does it make? Yeah, it makes film. Now, the English word film is used in Urdu as well, and we call it film. Okay? Before we move on to the next letter, let me explain something else. Look at this word, film. Fe, zer, lam, mim, film. But did you notice that I wrote film like this? Right? Now, this is Urdu written in the separate form. This is Urdu written in the joint form. We do not write Urdu in the separate form. We always write Urdu in the joint form. Okay, so that film is actually written like this. You can see that's fe, that's lam, and that's mim. Now, that's the difference between the joint form Urdu and the separate form Urdu. Now, remember, writing Urdu in the separate form is just for learning Urdu. Once you learn Urdu, you won't be writing like this. You'll be always writing like this. I'm going to teach you how to write like this in a separate series of videos. It's pretty straightforward. Once you learn the rule, you'll appreciate how important it is to write in the joint form. Imagine you're writing film and only writing bit of F, a bit of L, and bit of M. How quickly you'll be able to write film that way. And that's what we do in Urdu language. We do not write the whole letter. We only write parts of the letter. And it makes writing Urdu much quicker. In fact, it makes it more beautiful as well. But we're going to look at this in a separate video in details. Okay? So, now that you know the difference between the separate form Urdu and joint form Urdu, let's move on to the next letter. Look at this letter now. Hang on, we saw this before, didn't we? This one here, that was Z. So what's the difference between Z and this letter? Well, pretty obvious. This one has got a dot, this one hasn't got a dot. Now, don't say the different color. I've just done this different color to explain it to you. Okay, so this letter is called Re, and it makes R sound like A gives you in ring. Now, it's not same as English R, because English R, particularly English R in British English, is tricky. Now, this Re is always pronounced in Urdu, right? It's always pronounced like R. It's never silent. It's not R sound. It's proper R sound, a trill. You can hear the R sound, okay? So, it's called Re. It makes R sound like A in ring. It's always pronounced. So look at this now. R, and sin, which give you S sound. So what does it make? It makes ras, which means juice. Okay, so ras is juice. Right, look at this. This is English letter E. Do you know E is the most commonly used letter in English language? While working so hard, this E must be tired. So let me help it. So let's help this E to lie down on its back, and it becomes like this. Now this symbol represents a sound. Right? You might have noticed I used it before. Now in almost all the unstressed syllables in English language, all letters, all vowel letters give you a sound. Now look at these words. I've written 5 different words of English language with 5 different vowels in them. Look at the red one. Ignore the black ones. Look at the red ones. A, E, I, O, and U. If you read these words quickly, you'll notice something really interesting. So that says signal, petition, definite, potato, support. Have you noticed all these vowels? They give only one sound, a sound. That's represented by schwa in linguistics. So that's something really important. This vowel sound is very easy to produce, and it's the most common vowel sound in English language, in fact. This sound is important in English, but it's equally important in Urdu as well. Now, in Urdu, this schwa sound, sound, is represented by the symbol zabar. Remember that slanted line on top of a letter? Now, speakers of Urdu, they love adding it to foreign words. Now, Urdu has loads and loads of foreign words in it. There are many English words which are used in Urdu as well. So, look at this now. That says English word form. Now, let's write it in Urdu now. Look at that. Fe, we done that, f sound. Alif give you a sound. Re give you r sound. Zabar gives you sound. And Mim give you m sound. So in common Urdu, a form is known as faram. Now, there are people who will be able to say farm as well, but most Urdu speakers, they add an extra schwa between these two consonants. Okay? So form becomes faram. Now, look at this word. A farm. Right? So the British pronunciation is farm. Now, when it comes in Urdu, guess how we write it? F, A, R, A, M. So, farm. So, look at another word. Look at this word. We saw this before. It's film. But most Urdu speakers, particularly in Pakistan, when they say this word, they add an extra schwa between l and m. So they'll say film. They won't say film, they'll say film. Now, guess what? We do it with all other foreign languages, not just English. For example, the Persian word garm, when it comes in Urdu, becomes garam. Arabic word shahr, when it comes in Urdu, becomes shahr. Waqt becomes waqat. Drakht becomes drakhat. There are people who do pronounce these foreign words in accurate pronunciation as well, but generally Urdu speakers, particularly in Pakistan, they add this extra schwa sound. Remember, that is going to help you to understand many cognates in Urdu language. Now, in my next video, we're going to look at a few more letters of the Urdu alphabet, and I'm going to bring some more important and interesting facts about both English and Urdu. Until then, goodbye, Allah Hafiz, and have a nice day.